It's the end of 2024, and it's about that time that we tell you what our favorite albums were that came out this year. Then you inevitably tell us we're wrong, and you make fun of my mustache. We're also going to take a trip down memory lane, show you some of our favorite things that happened this year.
Yeah.
The first album I chose kind of hits close to home to me. In 2019, my friend JT introduced me to this band, and I've been hooked ever since. This is Lost Dog Street Band, Survived. This album is an absolute testament to resilience, and it delivers this raw, stripped-down Americana-style music. It is a husband and wife duo. This album has so much soul pounded into it, so much heartbreak, and clearly is just a product of well-earned wisdom.
Ooh.
I bet you thought I was going to pick something heavy to start out with. We'll get to it.
First things first, Miss Taylor Swift's Tortured Poets Department. It's like a diary in an album, but I feel like a lot of her albums are like that. This one, I feel like it's extra special. Like, I feel like it's more gut-wrenching and a little more sad than the rest.
Kind of departed from her pop sensibilities on this one, too. Not that she hasn't done it before.
Right,
I want
exactly.
music to be therapy. I never want it to be a job. Then it's not fun.
Favorite album, best album ever.
At the Drive-In's Relationship of Command.
Brother Sister by Me Without You.
Saint Seneca, Dark Art. They are from Columbus, Ohio. The Cure Wish.
Silence by Blindside.
I mess up the name sometimes, but ballads of gunfighters and
Trail songs.
The Hippos from 1999. Heads Are Gonna Roll. It's got to be Norah Jones, Come Away With Me. It's the best of the red.
Now get back to your vinyl reckoning video.
This next band, on paper, should not be as popular as they are, but somehow they've clawed their way up to playing late night,
Yeah.
which is still a thing. This is Knocked Loose. You won't go before you're supposed to. Every time this band puts out any music, you don't think they can top themselves, and they somehow manage to.
Right.
This is a dark album. It's like binging a really heavy TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So my initial thought when I saw featuring Poppy on one of their tracks, I was like, what is this? And that feature blew me away.
I feel like I was expecting that. It blew me away, but I wasn't surprised. I was like, hell yeah, she did.
And then to see her on Jimmy Kimmel just skip out on the stage, genuinely watch that performance. Even if you're not into heavy music, it kind of wins you over.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So my next one is a very, trending one, I would say, right now.
That's a good TikTok word.
Yeah, and I feel like I've probably found her on TikTok.
Probably.
You know, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sabrina Carpenter's Short and Sweet.
Like you.
Like me. It's very poppy. It's very confident. She's very honest and very witty. And I love a good witty lyricist.
Really emphasize those T's.
'Cause
What blew me away was finding out that she was a character on Girl Meets World, that Boy Meets World
Yeah.
reboot or reimagining or what have you. It was strange. I like the album enough. It's definitely not my favorite female artist that came out this year.
Yeah, same. I fell in love with the popular songs that are on there. So they're just really catchy.
Love's a good catch. This next one's a compilation. It counts. It's
I
like
agree.
4 or 5 tracks. If you're a member of the Storm Chasers Limited Patreon, a Patreon I've talked about multiple times on this channel. I don't know why I said it like that. So about 3 weeks before us, my favorite artist, Into It Over It, got married. And you could only get this next record if you were at the wedding or the highest tiered member of the Patreon. This is 10-19-24. So it's Into It Over It, Rat Boys, Couplet, and a few others covering the likes of like the Beatles, Donna Lewis, Cat Stevens.
Yeah, I love it.
Songs that Evan's now wife would just sing around the house. I just love that this record was sort of released or given out at his wedding like 2.5, 3 weeks before we were married. And we got this in like the day after our wedding in the mail, which was, it felt like a wedding gift.
Yeah.
And the best wedding gift.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Except for that trash can that you can wave your hand over and it opens.
And that sick can opener we got.
Okay, like second or third best.
The painting was a gift, Todd. I'm taking it with me.
From Indian Lakes. Such a good frickin' band.
Yes, I agree, actually. Yeah.
I love everything they come out with. This album, Head Void. I feel like everything from Indian Lakes comes out with, it's the same vibe, yet different. It has that sound that we love about them, like just being like cool and moody, but then, you know, just different feels all the way around.
That dude writes some sad songs.
I love it.
And I saw them for the first time live in 2024.
You're welcome.
1970 U.S. pressing of Dave Mason, Alone Together.
Grabbed this record for $6. The Mamas and the Papas deliver.
The Gin Blossoms, Congratulations, I'm Sorry.
I have never seen Simple Math, like in the wild.
I love Church of Misery. You, Me, and Everyone We Know, Party for the Grown and Sexy.
Ultimate New Orleans Brass, second line funk.
Gospel. The Moon is a Dead World.
Closer, but it's a full album of just the song Closer, but remixed.
Hate Breeds, Concrete Confessional. I think they reinvented themselves with Neon Ball. My next pick is from Iodine Records, a label that hails from my home state, or home area, I should say. Okay. This is Love Letter. Everyone Wants Something Beautiful. Sort of like a hardcore supergroup, if you will. It features founding members of Verse and Defeater. This one's a little tough to describe because in my eyes it is just straight hardcore, but it's a bit more poetic. You can feel the pain that it took to write these songs. If you're even slightly into hardcore, you should check this out because it is really inventive while staying true to the genre. So there's a bit of a disclaimer with this one. We know this album came out last year, but they did a 1-year anniversary pressing, which to me is a money grab, but that's not what this video is about. But it is such a good record. I was perfectly fine with you choosing this one.
And here's the thing. I think she didn't blow up until like 2024. Chapel Roan's The Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess. I can't say anything good enough. Holy cow. I want everybody to listen to this album and just recognize how much of a masterpiece it is.
This album makes me love myself, which I've been working on in therapy for years at this point. And it just, I listen to one album and I'm like, woo.
It's like big dreams, little city, you know, big city dreams and a little town girl. I don't know. You're in my hometown. You had to park and like pay and then walk. Soon, these are like matching.
Yeah.
Soon as the door
Nailed it. I think you're making fun of me.
I'm not, I love you so much. It's like an actual concrete confessional.
We're good. We're good.
Tell me to leave.
Just learn from me. So it's time for me to take over with my last two picks of 2024. I do love metal, but if you've heard me talk about it, you know I'm super particular about the metal I listen to. I was introduced to this band probably about 10 to 12 years ago, and I near did a backflip when I found out they were releasing a new album. I didn't near do a backflip. I would hurt myself. I'm getting old. This is Bong Rippers' Empty. Think Russian Circles, but more doomy and slower. Everything about this album is perfect in the eyes of a doom metal fan. It's got this like ethereal, droney The music creates this atmosphere that if you're just staring at the artwork on the album, you feel like you're there.
Add a little bong ripping in there and you're like in another world, am I right?
My last pick of 2024 hits a little close to home. I actually grew up with the drummer of this band, and I love every piece of music they put out. From the state of New Hampshire, this is Roode, and the album is Laverne. Listening to this album for the first time feels like the 100th time you've heard it. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It brings this fresh new look into the indie genre, kind of flips it on its head.
His head's too hard.
There's just this intimacy to the songwriting that makes you feel like you could have written it or you've lived through it. And if you're going to check out any of the albums that we've talked about here today, put this first on your list. So that was our 2024 in music. Let us know what your top 5 favorite albums are that came out this year.
I want to know your top 1.
Why just one?
I don't know, because it's hard.
That limits us from finding out about their favorite music.
You're right. Okay, go.
You're messing up.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4, gotta look at the camera, babe. Thank y'all. Don't. Miller, lay down. No.
Oh, hi.
Are you taking a picture of our dog?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Mama,
You know I love you. I like this record.
I don't know why I did that.